Yes, that's for sure.
They
Okay.
can hear us loud and clear now. Cool. Thank you for hanging in.
Thank you. Yeah, one of these
That,
days. Yeah.
you were doing a lot of dadding today.
Oh my gosh.
Impressive timing. It was like 10 minutes ago. He's like, hey, this is what I'm currently looking at. And it was like his kids play. I'm
Yeah.
like, our event is in 10 minutes. He's like, no big deal. And here he
uh
is.
yeah, I just like sprinted to my car and drove back to the house as fast as possible. Just because
Here we are.
yeah, here we are. I was listening to kids sing Jingle Bells, which was really fantastic. And now I'm back. So
How do
uh,
they sound?
I mean, they sounded great. I could tell Landon wasn't giving it his all. He was kind of just like he was just like, all the kids are singing. He's kind of like hardly moving his mouth, but
He's like pretending. You're like, you gotta fake it a little bit better, man.
he was like doing the motions and whatever,
All the
like the
time.
hand signs, but like the singing part, I haven't heard him sing that much. Like our daughter sings all the time, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's very
not him.
not him.
That's all right.
Not the
I've
singer.
been there plenty of times where I just pretend to sing in the choir. So
Oh yeah, me
can't blame
too.
him.
Yeah.
Can't blame him. All right, welcome everyone. This is the SvelteKit 1.0 course drop party. Welcome. Thank you for being so flexible. Oh, welcome from Golden, Colorado. Sweet.
I love
We're both in
Golden.
Denver.
Golden is amazing. Yeah.
Golden is amazing. My my favorite brewery is oh shoot.
It's Coors.
Yeah, of course. Golden is like the best brewery ever. It's super cool. I'm
Oh
sure you've
yeah.
been there before, Brandon. All right. So let me go through a little bit of our agenda and what we're doing here. And then we'll just jump in. But this is a drop party. We're going to celebrate. We're going to learn about our course, about SvelteKit 1.0, what you're going to learn in the course, how the course is built. You'll get your questions answered,
We have a
figure
coupon
out if this
code.
course is for you. What did you say?
We have a coupon code.
And a coupon code. Wow. So there you go. That's worth it just to be here for that. I'm Caitlin Bloom. I'll just do a quick little intro. I'm Caitlin Bloom. I'm the director of marketing here. So anything marketing you see is probably from me. Not always, but sometimes. I've been here for over a year. This is like we haven't done a drop party in like a few months. And each time I'm like, oh, we're coming up on a year of me
Oh my
being here.
gosh.
And all of a sudden I'm like, it's been a minute. So I feel comfy here. These are really fun. These drop parties are really fun. So have fun with us. Um, yeah, we'll like we're doing the kickoff intro right now. We'll jump into me asking Scott questions about the course, etc. And then we'll jump into formal Q&A from the audience. And then whatever time we have left, we can just hang out and talk about more breweries if we want. So just as a reminder, please drop your questions within the chat. We will go back. We'll try to answer them as we go, but if we miss them, we'll answer them in the former Q&A section. Do you guys have any questions about the process? I'll also put that in there. But Scott, how about you introduce yourself?
Hey, my name is Scott Tolinski. If you are watching this, you probably know who I am at least a little bit. I do a lot of video tutorials, so that's really my whole thing is making a lot of video content, a lot of teaching the latest and greatest stuff over both YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, but most importantly, levelup.video. And one thing that for me, like this course is a really, just a really fantastic moment for me to get this course out. Because one, it's the longest course we've done on Level Up tutorials, which I don't like to have the length of the course be like a big selling point because it's not padded. And that was actually a big concern of mine was like, as I was recording, I'm like, there's too much stuff I want to teach in this course. So, yeah, just kept going and going and going. But it's a big accomplishment. It's a course on my favorite platform. And there's something different about courses on platforms I really love. And they're always the best courses. Some of my biggest tutorials that I've done before in the past were my Meteor tutorials at first, because that was like a platform I was really invested in. And with SvelteKit, it's really a wonderful environment to work in, I would say.
Love that. I think that we've done another course drop for I don't remember which one it was, but you could just, I think it was Svelte 3D.
It was the 3D one.
Actually.
Yeah. Because it's just
And
so
you were
cool.
like
Yeah.
so stoked and you were so like enthusiastic about it. And everyone was like, I can sense that just like within the actual course. I have a feeling that this is pretty much going to match that kind of energy. So SvelteKit 1.0 was dropped on Wednesday, and this course was dropped on Wednesday. Can you give us a little bit more information around like what this 1.0 thing is, why it's important, for us who maybe just don't know?
Yeah. Yeah. So SvelteKit has been available to be used for quite a while. And if you've been following Level Up, you might know that not only have we released a redesign on SvelteKit, but even the previous version of our website we wrote into SvelteKit. So now we've done 2 launches of websites before SvelteKit has gone from their, beta version or even alpha version into version 1.0. But what's amazing is that at version 1.0, we can stop asking the question, is it ready yet? Because what 1.0, and I don't know, Caitlin, have you ever heard of something called Semvar or Semver?
No.
Okay. So I wasn't sure if you had, so Semver is called semantic versioning. And so when you see software, it has a number next to it, like 1.0.0. And that number, the very first number, indicates that there's what are called breaking changes, or things that will change that will make you have to modify your code heavily. If something, version 2 or whatever, version 3, they're not always substantial releases, but sometimes they're these substantial releases that will make you do a ton of extra work. So when you have changes that are going up from 000 to 001, whatever, all the way up to version 1, when it hits that version 1, what it's essentially doing is locking in the way that you build sites with SvelteKit. It's giving it long-term support for this API. And that's a big deal because there has been a lot of learning over the course of the evolution of SvelteKit from where it was to where it is now. They've taken all sorts of lessons from both other frameworks that have, advanced during this time, but also, what the community's been saying and all these things. And there's been a lot of changes to SvelteKit. And honestly, even though it's been painful for me as a code maintainer, the changes have been fantastic. And it has done nothing but instill confidence in this platform for me. So here we are. We have hit version 1, which means solidified API. It means it is ready. It is production ready. It is like, let's go, green flag.
We love that. We love that. Love it. So you're pretty involved in the Svelte community. How is this felt within that world? Are people really excited? Yeah, how does it feel?
It's a big party. I've been involved in the community for a little while, and the developers, everybody working both on Svelte but on Svelte related projects, people are just so excited about the technology. They're happy to be working in Svelte, and it really gives it's the best type of community where people are really lifting each other up. They're celebrating the successes of what a great fun thing this is to work in. So not every tech community is like that. And, I got to say, everybody is just really excited, I think, that this thing is at version 1. And now it makes it easier for us to share the thing that we love, right? If it's like you have an unbaked bread, you're not going to be telling everybody to try the bread. But now that the bread's baked, I'm ready to start passing out trays, right?
Yeah. So you love it a lot, obviously. The community loves it a lot. The people who have been involved and helped creating it are really proud of it. Tell us why it's so great. Why do you love Svelte and SvelteKit?
A couple of big reasons, and I'm going to do so without relating it to frameworks that I like less than Svelte. You can make judgments on what those are, but Svelte for me and SvelteKit, they take us back to me specifically, an era of web development that I really, really enjoyed, but ultimately felt very productive in, where from the whole server to the client, what you end up having is a DOM-focused, browser-focused application that functions really super well without you having to worry about it functioning well. Some other frameworks, you get really into the weeds with worrying about performance. And not to say don't need to worry about performance, because you do, but you don't have to twist and turn little knobs here and there to get it to be fast. So out of the box, it's fast, it's friendly, it's flexible. I think that's their tagline on their website, actually.
So, yeah.
But at the end of the day, it uses real browser APIs, real technologies that are fully established. And the best part is many of these things work without JavaScript. So you could ship just straight HTML, serve straight HTML, have forms, send that data back. Like, all of these things are such a great foundational web technology base. But at the same time, if you wanted to deploy to edge servers, you wanted to deploy to serverless functions, you can do all of these exceedingly modern techniques with it as well, with, again, like hardly any effort on the developer itself. Gives you a lot of freedom.
Doesn't really sound like there's any reason for people to not add this into their like company's tech stack. I feel like that might be the direction that I'm, especially with the software developers in my life. They're starting to be like, when they're looking for jobs or even at their companies, they're like, how do we introduce this into our tech stack? How do people convince their leaders, their engineering managers to have this be a part of that?
Yeah, I think SvelteKit version 1.0 is a good start to that, because, now you have something to hang your head on and say, like, yeah, this thing is ready to use in production. But, there's been a lot of big companies using Svelte in production, like Apple Music is built with Svelte. Like a bunch of big products are, I'm blanking on some of them right now, but like it's out there and you can use it at a high level. And now, you don't have to worry about the stability aspect of things. And like I said, personally, like once I really got deep into the site and really deep into using it, just the general vibe of working in it was so fantastic as a developer. It's the type of developer experience you really like reach for.
Awesome. So let's get into the course a little bit now. How did you put it together? What was your process and how did you choose the topics?
Yeah. You know what? I've done a SvelteKit course already. And one thing that I've never done before was release a straight up update of a course. So I had done a major version change from like React 14 to React 16, I think. And I've done some other big like second part of courses. But I haven't done a course that's essentially a second course, like a update of a course once APIs change. And this one turned out to be like no different, because I ended up rewriting this from scratch and just really focusing in on the things that the things that I've come across in building a platform like Level Up. The site that you use is built on SvelteKit, and it takes advantage of so many great parts of the APIs and so many great things in it. So when you work in a product like this that has user accounts, database, it has a lot of things, you end up uncovering tips and tricks, but also, I don't want to say pitfalls, because there's nothing really that devastating or anything like that, but you end up, you hit the things that you hit when you go from building a trivial to do app to building like a full-on thing. So the goal of the course was to give you not only the things that I've learned in the mix there, but also give you all the practical things that you're going to need on 99% of the websites that you're going to be building. And along the way, you'll learn all of the insider stuff that took me a long time to develop myself and figure out and go into the GitHub issues and all that stuff. So, yeah.
That's pretty invaluable there.
Yeah.
You kind of putzed around in there, figured out all the issues so other people don't have to.
There's something really, when you build the whole website in a course, like there's something really like makes building the course content really easy, because I know it inside and out. I know it front and back. I don't have to be researching while I'm developing the course. I can just focus on the course itself.
Yeah. You're like, I've just experienced all this firsthand. People are all hung up on the fact that Apple Music is built on Svelte.
Yeah.
Do you have any more information about that?
Apple's new music player is in beta. It's built on Svelte at beta music beta.music.apple.com. So I don't know if it's the live one at this point, but beta.music.apple.com I can direct you to a Reddit post about this, but they formerly were using Ember, and now they have moved it in the beta version to Svelte. If you've never heard of Ember, Ember was another front-end framework that was popular around like Angular 1 time.
Is it still popular?
It never got there, so to say.
Okay.
It certainly never got to the levels of ubiquity where everybody's picking it up. So a little bit of front-end history framework. For a little while, your choices were pretty much Backbone or Ember, and even then Ember wasn't done. So it was like everybody used Backbone, and everybody used Backbone until Angular came around, and Angular kind of sveltified Backbone. And it's not like a totally outlandish thing to say that like that's the same type of jump we're dealing with, because Backbone was very similar to React in a lot of ways, and then people started using Angular because it was easier and did a lot of stuff for you. I remember going into an interview for a Backbone site, and they asked me how I would do it in Angular. I'm just like, you don't. Angular does it for you. And they couldn't believe that. And that's really how it feels with the transition for me from React to Svelte. You don't have to do all these things. The framework just does it for you. Yeah.
So do you feel like Svelte's going to become really mainstream?
You can't predict anything. It does just feel like when people use it, they see the magic and they feel the magic. So who knows? If people pick it up, if you pick it up, I think a big percentage of people will really enjoy working in it. Not to say everybody will, because there's certainly some things that I think React can reach to people a little bit differently, but I think most people will really like it if they pick it up. It matter if they can use it professionally at work. That's a whole nother thing that's out of our hands, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, in the world, my world, I've never heard a negative thing about it, but I'm in marketing, and just seeing like how people are reacting to this course and the SvelteKit 1.0 release, it just feels like everyone has a lot of fun within it. All right. So is there anything else you want to say specifically about the course, what people are going to be learning more specifically, if they're going to build anything? Yeah.
That was kind of the initial question, wasn't it?
No, but sometimes like those answers blend together, because I asked about like the process of building it. So now what are we going to learn?
You're going to learn practical things. Now, a lot of courses, what they're going to do is they're going to bog you down with CSS stuff or things that they only have to put into the course to complete whatever project they're doing. And I didn't take that approach with this course. I'm not ruling out doing another course that's just straight build a specific project in SvelteKit, but there's a lot of stuff to learn in SvelteKit. There's a lot of different areas of it. And so for me, the main focus of what you're going to be learning in the course is getting into the most practical things that you're going to hit from the Svelte APIs. So we really deeply get into routes in layouts. Controlling routes in your layouts is a huge part of what we do as web developers. Where you go and which routings, what you need to get your correct data. But then I would say, good 60% of the course is involved in the data loading capacity, and not just specifically loading data, but we're talking like caching, parameter-based stuff, layouts, passing data from layouts to nested layouts and nested pages, like hooking into that data flow function to be able to control access levels and things like that, and redirecting users elsewhere, errors and error pages, those types of things. So there's a lot around the concept of data loading, considering websites need to do a few things. Typically, they need to, route you somewhere based on where you're going, change the page. They need to bring in data from somewhere, APIs or a database. And we do bring in an API from the Syntax Podcast API. So what we use is the Syntax Podcast API, get all that going. We show you several different ways of importing it. We show you how to cache it. We talk about the pros and cons of different things. And then we get into like the last like big, well, I guess there's four maybe big aspects. I was thinking there was three. But the third big aspect, which would be forms. How do we work with data coming into the site or into our server from the user, making the site interactive in some sort of ways, and how we can use things like progressive enhancement to make those better. Progressive enhancement, Caitlin, is like a topic that's like what you're doing is you're adding on code to make the website work in more conditions. So if the user turns off JavaScript, does your website break? I would say a huge percentage of websites built today, you turn off JavaScript, they're breaking. And, that's an accessibility thing, but there's also a lot there. The site's going to perform better in many sort of ways if there's this progressive fallback. But also we talk about deploying the site, which is a big thing. We talk about building how you can quickly and easily get this thing hosted somewhere. So we host it on Vercel, but we show you also how to build it as a node site and get it up and running as a production node site. That way you can take it on any server that you could possibly want to take it on. And then we do spend a few videos just kind of getting into the nitty gritty of some of these APIs that just exist that maybe don't fit necessarily in a neat box in the course.
Okay, so basically everything somebody's gonna everything someone's gonna need to know to get up and running.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Everything you're going to need to know to build most sites in Svelte. And that's not going to say you're going to be we're not going to cover every niche little thing, but most projects are going to be fully covered by this thing. It's funny. So Matthew says in the chat, during the 1.0 launch, Rich talked about the image and font optimizing still lacking in SvelteKit. So it's in SvelteKit itself. It's not an incredible story or anything like that. There's some things that do it a little bit better, but Matthew, it's not bad. So like don't let that concern you. So what we end up doing on Level Up is we use Vite Sharp. I'll like maybe share a link to this or something. It's the Sharp plugin for Vite, which is an image transformation plugin, and you really just install that into your Vite config, and then anytime you bring in images, you get to use those image tools. And I think when he says it's lacking, I would say it's lacking because it's not sveltified. It's not like perfectly buttoned up necessarily, but it's perfectly capable. That's for sure. We use it across the site.
So not something that we need to worry about.
Yeah, in font loading, you load fonts like any other asset, and then you cache them. I've never done it any other way, so yeah.
What kind of experience do people need before coming into this course?
You probably would want to have Svelte experience. That said, it's funny, we don't end up really writing that much interesting Svelte code in this course, which is funny to say because it's a Svelte course with 30 videos in it. But SvelteKit has a lot of stuff, right? You're communicating front end, back end, you're routing, all these things don't necessarily entail Svelte topics. So I would expect or hope that you would maybe have a little bit of Svelte experience. If you don't, we do have this Svelte for Beginners course. This thing will teach you everything you need to know easily. Or there's the quick interactive tutorial on Svelte's own website. I don't want it to sound like I'm just pitching our stuff, but you can take that interactive course and it will get you there too.
Okay, cool. You mentioned a little bit of kind of like a teaser of you might be putting out more Svelte and SvelteKit courses. Do you have a vision for that? What can people expect? I think just a little bit of like not even a roadmap, but an idea
behind the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, give us a little bit of behind the scenes.
You can see here we have a bunch of Svelte courses. 2 of these are going to be going away. The old Svelte one is going to be going away. The old SvelteKit course is going to be going away. And Sapper for Beginners Sapper was the framework that existed before SvelteKit to do the same thing. So these 2 will be going away. So we have animating, SvelteKit, Svelte for Beginners, and Svelte components. Got a lot of Svelte stuff going on. But I'm going to be adding a few SvelteKit specific courses. One on a full stack SvelteKit app. We're going to be using a database. It's probably going to be MongoDB, even though I know, Mongo is a bit divisive, but that's really what I personally know best. And if you can adapt the things into whatever, like the database tech in the course probably won't be the most important part of the course. I want to do a Supabase course with Svelte. I'm working on an app right now in Supabase, like an actual native mobile app in Supabase and Svelte. And I'm a tremendous fan. It takes away a lot of stuff you got to do worrying about the database, but authentication, login sort of stuff just takes all of that away. So that's really nice. And then I'm also going to be doing a course on, third one is escaping me.
I'll be surprised.
Oh, I'm going to be doing a course on Tori, which is a way to build apps, desktop apps, and now, like as of this month, native, not like truly native, but native apps for your phone. You can build phone apps, Android, whatever. So I'll be doing a course on that. And of course, I'm going to use Svelte because you need a front-end framework for it. So it's going to be a Svelte and Tori course. We're going to build a real app. And I haven't decided if it's going to be desktop or mobile or both or who knows what, but definitely on the list.
So, I mean, just off the top of your head, those are all just off the top of your head, but that's a lot of stuff coming our way. So, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
just from like, yeah, I guess if you guys are interested in these courses, definitely weigh the benefits of subscribing for an entire year versus buying individual courses. If you know that all these kind of courses are coming down the pipeline, just, could save you some money. And we're not trying to take all your money, okay? We want you to just learn and we can help. So is there anything else specifically you wanted to share about this course, about SvelteKit, about Svelte, about the community, before we jump into questions from the audience? I see that there's a bunch and I want to make sure we can get to all of them. Yeah,
we can get into questions. I'm ready to answer some.
Great. I'm going to scroll up here. People are wondering what the course's price is.
Oh, it's $59 for the course. Or you could, it'll be cheaper if you wanted to sign up monthly for a subscription. You could sign up monthly for the subscription. It's $24.99. If you just want to buy the course and not have to worry about a subscription, it's $59. And then if you want to subscribe for the year, it's $249. But we have a coupon code of Svelte, SvelteE. Yeah, I'm really sincerely not good at spelling out loud like that. Okay,
we have a coupon. I'm gonna put it in.
Coupon code Svelte, which will get you 30% off the annual subscription price. So it's $224.99, but it'll be 30% off that if you use the coupon code Svelte, and then you get access to not only this course but all of the Svelte courses, and then all of the other courses that we had. In fact, if you look at our brand new courses. Most of them aren't even Svelte necessarily. So we just have a ever growing library of stuff over here.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff. I'm seeing a lot of positive things in here. Thanks everyone for even just taking a second to say something positive about the course.
Okay. Sorry. Before the coupon code is lowercase Svelte. It shouldn't. It shouldn't matter. But I'm not confident that I put to lowercase on the coupon form.
That's important.
Yeah. I think I might have it be case sensitive.
Okay, correction. There it is.
Bingo.
Matthew is already one chapter in and can't wait to get into the meatloaf of this course. Thank you. There's a bunch of nice things in here. So thank you guys for saying all that. Do the Svelte 3D and Svelte Animate courses still work with 1.0 release? Whew.
Yeah, they do. We don't get into anything in those courses technically that would get in the way because they're most what you're not going to learn from that is how to animate between page routes, but I suspect that's something that's going to evolve. I don't know for sure, so don't take that as a de facto statement, but I suspect there's going to be better ways of doing page transitions than there is right now. But nonetheless, and the animation course is really great for doing any kind of component animating in Svelte, which is one of its biggest strengths in my experience.
Great. Yeah, there's just a few questions in here, making sure that those other Svelte courses are still going to be good to go with this update. Let's see. People are excited that you're using Arc.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite. I love it.
I feel like I'm still on their wait list.
I can get you in.
Oh, okay. Sweet. Um, what are some good arguments to convince a team? This is from Brandon. To convince a team to move to Svelte when there's two React stalwarts on the said team.
Yeah, you know what? It's tough. It's going to be tough to convince anybody, especially the people who are the firmest in their opinions about things. Like it's kind of always been that way in web dev world, where a lot of people really like to be the person that's like right about things. Like I want to be the guy that's right. So I'm just going to like poo poo anything else that's not what I have experienced. It's very common, right? But in my experience with Svelte, people really like it when they use it. If it gets put in front of them to try it, you could just say, hey, listen, do this one to-do lesson. Like there's the interactive Svelte course on Svelte's own website, not the SvelteKit website. Just find a lesson in that, like the examples page in the Svelte. Show them the examples page and say, hey, just look at this examples page. You know how to build all this stuff in React. Click through these examples pages and just tell me this code isn't like more readable, nicer to look at. So yeah, maybe that I would say really with Svelte, like trying it is its biggest selling point, is just like the experience of writing it.
Get people in there playing around with it and they'll fall in love with it.
Yeah, totally.
Foolproof. Awesome. Yep, another person. I'm going through the course right now. Thanks for releasing it quickly. That was impressive. We do have to give Scott a bit of a round of applause because he stayed up like all night.
If you're wondering why I look the way I do, I got a big scratch over here on my face. Just like I'm like
From
beat
what?
up over here.
From a baby or an animal?
No,
Or
I tripped and I like got cardboard like up in my face. It was on like the same night that I was like so like tired and stressed out. I was like moving into the house and I was like taking some some recycling out. Oh yeah.
That's how when you're like already really irritated. That's when things like that happen. You just like kick the cardboard out and you're like, shoot.
I know. It was like it was late and it was just like one of those things.
Yeah. One of those. Do you think SvelteKit competes more with Next.js versus something like Gatsby, or does it relate to both?
I think it competes more with Next.js because it does like all of the stuff that you would do in Next.js. I'm like having a hard time thinking about the stuff that it wouldn't do that, where Gatsby's very targeted and it does some things for you on the data side of things, the fact that it has that GraphQL API, but I haven't necessarily picked up Gatsby in a little while. So, there's a chance that those two are a little bit closer together than, I'm imagining right now. But I would say it's in the same neighborhood as Gatsby. It's competing with Next.js. It's competing with Remix. Yeah, those types of things.
Awesome. Thanks for that question, Vex Code. And thanks for your positive comments further up. Lucas is wondering what you think about Solid.js.
Yeah, so Solid.js, for those of you who don't know, it's kind of like React mixed with Svelte in a way that the way you write it is JSX and it's very React-like. But it takes some of the lessons that Svelte learned, like having a compiler, and then does still a little bit more things for you. And I believe they're about to or have released some kind of meta framework as well that's like similar to SvelteKit. SvelteKit's often referred to as a meta framework by some people. I don't know if that's like an official thing or not, but and I haven't checked it out yet. Long story short, I have not invested any real time into it beyond looking at the docs. But if you're the type of person who's like, oh, I like the way of React components are authored, then Solid might be a better choice for you. Yeah, it's a cool framework. We're actually gonna get Ryan, the creator of it, on Syntax sometime soon. We talked about it and then never scheduled, so that'll happen at some point, people.
Future.
Yeah.
Cool. Mr. Woot says SvelteKit feels like coding old school HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but in 2022-23.
Truly does.
Experience? Yeah.
It truly does.
What does that mean for a non-developer?
Yeah. You know what? In the past, things were a bit more simple. And they were a bit more simple but ultimately they did less. And then it was like we were given a lot more ability, but it came at a cost. And like now, the reason why I think it feels that way to a lot of people is it feels more simple. Not only that, but Svelte truly feels like it truly feels like you're writing HTML and then you're adding functionality onto the HTML. But React specifically, and more so than any of the other frameworks, feels like you're writing JavaScript the whole time. And that's fine. I like JavaScript, but I really like writing HTML a lot more. So yeah.
Funny. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that.
Shout out to Alex Trust, who's showing up, who just he must have just wrapped on his holiday spectacular for charity that I was on earlier, and it was an incredible live stream. So if you're out there, seen him on Twitter or anything, give him a follow. That was a really awesome experience. Yeah,
Scott was saying really nice things about it even before we're live.
I was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was. He's not just saying this. Let's see. There's so many awesome comments in here. Looking for the questions in the mix. Doug said the concept that caught my attention was that it was a compiled framework.
Yes, Solid is a compiled framework. Yeah.
Is he talking about Solid?
Wait, did he say Solid or Svelte? Sorry, I was also.
He just said that the concept that caught his attention was
of Svelte. Yes, yeah, sorry.
Svelte is also okay.
Yeah, Solid is also, but yeah, Svelte being a compiled framework, that simultaneously will scare some people away, but get other people excited. The benefits of having the component be compiled is that you don't have to worry about things like memoization, like. You don't have to do everything yourself. The framework can do a little bit more of that heavy lifting, and it comes at the cost of having a .svelte file with a little bit of like platform-specific knowledge. But hey, it's the trade-off, right?
Awesome. I got scroll down to the bottom of this, and now I'm lost.
Okay, somebody was asking about auth that I had a good answer for.
Yeah, go ahead. Go for that one. I found
a little while ago. Okay, so Kent Wisdom asks, does your course teach authentication? It doesn't, but it teaches concepts from authentication, if that makes sense. So we do a bit of a fake authentication. That way we can still teach things like invalidating unauthorized routes or how you pass user data from a hook to a component, that type of deal. But when you bring in authentication, you have to worry about the database now. Okay, that's going to limit some people's knowledges. You have to worry about the ORM if you're using an ORM, or the third-party service if you're using Supabase, and then maybe their API changes. So in an attempt to get this course to be as long-lasting as possible, the authentication piece of it is fake, but you can do any sort of like node auth or any type of auth you would possibly want in place of that, and it's just going to work.
Great. This is from Mike again. This might be out of the scope, but does everyone use the built animation in Svelte, or do you reach for third-party stuff? So you can speak on your own experience or what you think other people do.
Yeah, for the most part, people use the built-in stuff because it's good and handles most things. You know, I don't know if it will handle everything. And like page transitions, it will handle fine. Anytime you're doing like most user interface type of animations, it can handle it. Not only that, but there's like a custom animation where you can essentially, you just get the tween value, the 0 to 100 value, and that goes from 0 to 100, and you can use that to do anything with that math to, yeah. And on top of that, there's some SvelteKit built-in action. So like types of things you'd reach for a library for is dragging. Like we use a library for dragging. And that's pretty much it. Like, not necessarily even just drag and drop, but drag interface animations. But yeah, other than that, it's the built-in all day. It's really good.
Cool. Matt, a different Matt, is wondering how long the coupon code is good for.
TBD.
TBD.
Yeah.
Just keep trying it.
Maybe,
So it doesn't.
yeah, let's just say a couple of weeks right now. There's no expiration date on it, but it's not permanent. We will shut it off at some point, but we want to give people who are watching this a chance to watch it. So if you're out there watching this a couple of weeks later, hey, try it. Could very well work.
There you go. Paolo asks, do you think to add a section about SvelteKit and TypeScript? I'm assuming that's what SK is. Yeah. Okay.
That is actually the one course that I couldn't come up with when I was trying to tell. I'm doing a SvelteKit and TypeScript course, but it's going to be fairly short. It's not going to be building a project in SvelteKit and TypeScript. It's like we have a SvelteKit project that is complete, and we're going to be adding TypeScript to it and typing things and then covering all of the small things. Because level up tutorials, our site is entirely in TypeScript. All of the server files, all of the templates, everything is TypeScript. We're using like Zod schemas and so, I mean, we're in the TypeScript world for this thing. So I'm very, you know, when it comes down to it, you learn like 2 or 3, 4 or 5 lessons on SvelteKit specific stuff, and you're good to go. So I will be doing it in addition to that, but I didn't want to alienate the non-TypeScript crowd for the general course, especially when it's not needed necessarily. I do love TypeScript, so I just didn't want to shove it down people's throats.
So coming soon.
Coming soon. And it might be the very next thing I do, like the very next thing. I have the outline already.
You heard it here and now.
Well, check out this sunset I got.
I know. I was also getting hit with close my thing. I'm like, can you kind of see like it's I'm getting a little something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's that time of day, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3:11 in the afternoon here in Colorado.
Yeah, what, the sun setting at 3:11?
Oh
my God.
It's devastating. We can't complain because we didn't get hit with any of that big storm that's hitting like the rest of the country, or at least like Midwest, California and stuff. My parents in Minnesota are like, we got 2 feet. I'm like, I'm so excited to come home for Christmas. Yay.
Yay.
There's one day that the temperature range is -24 to -3.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'll be staying inside. Okay. Next code says I have a question specific about styling SvelteKit, but is there a way to do global styles like CSS resets and stuff?
Yeah. In fact, we do that. We do that really early.
Let me answer that. Sorry. Yeah.
We do that really early on in the course. Number 6, CSS basics. We do that.
Nice.
Yeah. We talk about the various aspects of both scoped and non-scoped CSS, but also loading files, loading CSS files into your layouts and stuff.
Beautiful. Clearly, Syncdom85 has taken the course because he said he had that same answer. Let's see. Is there a coupon code available just for the SvelteKit course?
Yes. Oh, just for the course. Sorry, no.
Just for the course, yeah. Nope.
You're really quick on that, yes, for being wrong about it.
I was like, I haven't heard about this.
Yep.
Nope, you got to buy a whole year, okay? Or the month. You could just do the month. Yep, someone said, I see 2 or Atreus says, I see 2 SvelteKit courses in the listing. Are they both still relevant?
Yeah, the one is the old pre-version 1 course, and it's only up temporarily. It's going to be retired very soon. I get that that's confusing right now. I'm going to augment to make it more obvious. Also, if you've purchased the old course as a straight up purchase, you can get access to the new course, but there's an unfortunate technical issue that is making that not work right now. I was going to be doing it SKU based, and there's some stuff around that. So at the end of the day, I'm going to fix that, retire the old course, and then like right now, essentially. So that will be going away if you see the old SvelteKit course.
Sweet. Krensna asked a bit more about pricing, and Scott and I have been in conversation about pricing and etc. So we'll keep this comment in mind. They were wondering a little bit about like pay once and get everything access forever.
Yeah, that's something that's been on our brain. Yeah, that specific concept. Yeah,
exactly. So stay tuned. That might be something coming out in the future. Especially just as things are changing in the economy and et cetera. We're definitely looking at pricing and making sure that things are matching the value that you're gonna get. So that's on our mind. Oh shoot, I lost. Do you see a question you want to answer, Scott?
Sure.
Keep getting scroll down to the bottom. Okay.
Somebody says, have you played around with the Svelte-based skeleton UI toolkit? I have not, but that sounds cool. I'll have to check it out. I've seen it pop up, but I haven't spent too much time with it. I did a big video on all of the UI libraries available for Svelte, so I have my eye into that space quite a bit already. But I'll be checking this out for sure. Somebody says, will you make a video on how to upload images to S3 buckets? Probably not. I've been thinking about getting into more AWS related content, but it's hard. A lot of times when you want to work on a tutorial course, you start wanting to combine all these different technologies and tools. But I've learned over the course of the last 10 years of making these that that is like a good recipe for making something that's out of date in no time and ends up being like a harm because you're learning APIs that are out of date. Yeah. So I would guess like maybe something like straight up just uploading things to S3 without Svelte. That's the hardest thing, is really picking and choosing the tech that you combine to avoid that.
Yeah. That's hard with such a lean team, a lean company. You got to be really intentional with what you choose in terms of topics. Luke had a fun question. If you had to rewrite your site but couldn't use Svelte or SvelteKit, what would you use?
Couldn't use Svelte or SvelteKit is the big problem there, because I would use Svelte.
Company's going down. We're not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Astro as a platform. I might pick Remix because I like the Remix platform overall. I don't love writing React necessarily anymore. So Remix might be what I would pick. You know, there's some really interesting other frameworks that, you know, I wish I was more prepared to talk about, but like Quick's a really interesting framework that I would take a look at. There's the Dino framework, Fresh. I would take a look at that. So a lot of these are JSX based, and that to me is a little bit of a bummer. I do come from like a mustache templating world, which is a style of templating that exists way back. It was like one of the first JavaScript templating types of deals. So it was like mustache, and then mustache, and then into Meteor for me, and then now into Svelte. They're all very similar in a certain type of way. So yeah, I wish it was something like that, but there's not a ton of those out there.
How many years have you been coding?
Oh, you know what? Not an endless amount or anything. 2011 was when I got my first dev job, but I've been working on websites since I was like in high school and middle school. You know, I learned the stuff in middle school, just basic HTML and dropping in like little things here and there. I learned this stuff in middle school, and then when I got to high school, I took a web development class, and they were like, all right, the topic for this entire class is you're going to be building a website. It has to have 5 pages. And then I like turned in a site that had like 40 some pages and hidden pages and all sorts of stuff. And I was always like image maps and stuff they weren't teaching us. So I was always just very into it. But professionally, I didn't get my first job doing dev until 2011. So yeah.
How did your MySpace look?
It had a double white border. It had like a black with like skull background or something. It was very punk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you do a lot of custom coding for that?
I did it all. Yeah. You bet. No, I was very much about my theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoever was in charge of like nuking all of the old MySpace pages, that's like a big problem. Yeah. Because I would love to go see mine. I lived on MySpace, especially, gosh, forever, high school and in college even.
I even scratched it a little bit. Like I was a little young for it, but like I had one. Did I do much in there? No, I had my top friends and a few pictures. Probably like,
yeah.
That's all it was.
I know mine was all my breakdancer friends doing their breakdancer poses. Like that was my whole top 8 was all just breakdancers.
I don't know if we would have been friends back then. Awesome. So let's see. Can I reverse ask, can I, as a novice JavaScript, CSS, TypeScript, can I jump directly into this?
Yes.
He's not.
I think so. You know, and some of it is like the stuff that you pick up in Svelte is more HTML than it is hardcore JavaScript. And in this course, we're not doing a bunch of crazy anything. It's mostly like learning about how the web works overall, but how to work in the web with this SvelteKit system and how things like really work hand in hand with the browser to, you know, serve up quality HTML pages.
Good. Wilson is asking if you have tried SvelteKit and Supabase together.
Yes, I have an app that I'm working on that I built for my dance. So I dance once a week, and I have an app that I built for it using Supabase, and let me see if I can pull it up here. Using Supabase and SvelteKit, and yeah, ooh, I'm sorry if there's fingerprints on this thing, but here's my app. It's wow. all my breakdancing moves, and they have different values associated with them, and I can add new ones. And let's see. Nope. Yeah, you can add a new move. Yeah, so this is Supabase and SvelteKit, and I actually use this thing at practice. I used this at practice last night, so that way I like know what I've practiced and what I haven't practiced, you know, and like, all right, I got to do these ones today. It's like a tracker, personal tracker.
Wow. So he generally asks like how it's going between SvelteKit and Supabase, and it looks like going really well.
It's effortless. You know, I put together like a prototype without CSS for this thing in like 2 hours, and had authentication and had the actual submitting of data working and subscriptions and all that stuff. Like the hardest parts of it have been choosing how it looks rather than writing any of the data stuff. So
beautiful. Beautiful. Oh gosh darn it.
Oh yeah, somebody asked about the auth library. So that's another reason why there's no auth in this course for the other person who had asked about auth, because there's a new Svelte auth library, and I intend on doing a mini deep dive into that. So that will be part of it.
Cool. How long? Do you know how many hours this course is?
I would have to do some math here. No, I don't know.
It looks like on average each is like 8 minutes.
I would say that's a decent average, yeah.
That's 8 times 31. Someone do the math.
It's a 248. 248 minutes divided by 60 is 4.1 hours.
All right. I'm over here like on my computer.
We got there, yeah.
Okay. There you go. So you could do it in a night if you're really ambitious.
Yeah. If you listen at 2x, you know, some people listen at two times the speed.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that from some of the more like experienced like senior devs.
Yeah.
They're like, I listen in 2x and I can absorb most of it. And if I get confused about anything, I go back. Cool.
You're looking to get big concepts and big ideas rather than the nitty gritty.
Right. Alrighty.
The sun is
I know,
wild over here. I can just like see it slowly descending upon.
Good thing we've got less than 10 minutes here. So let's see. Someone asked, or LS asked, how do you feel this framework compares with Redwood.js? Do you have any idea which one would make you more productive?
I think Redwood probably does a little bit more. Not probably, but it does do a little bit more. So like there's aspects of that you could say that you could be more productive. I just really like the things that SvelteKit does for you. I think if you take one more layer there and you say Supabase and SvelteKit or something, right? It doesn't have to be Supabase. I think if you have one more layer there for the data, then it's like a done deal. that would be the most productive thing in the world for me. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with the data story in Svelte overall. That said, getting data from a server or an API into your components is dead simple. So, it's all about picking that layer.
I see a few more questions around just kind of what's happening with all of the Svelte courses on the site. Do you think you could just like wrap it up concisely? What's happening on there? Are you going to take some down? Or any of them going to be free? What's happening with our Svelte library?
Yes. I've considered making the Svelte for Beginners course free, but it's not like I don't have any plans for that necessarily. Could. We'll see. I'm getting rid of these 2 courses. These are both old. SvelteKit is this old course, and it will be down like ASAP, so you won't even be seeing this. And then Sapper for Beginners is also being retired. Sapper is like really no longer a thing. It's the platform for building Svelte apps before SvelteKit existed. But all of these other ones, so the 5 that are up here right now are good to go. And we have a feature that on the site that's called Paths. We'll be adding a Svelte path that's going to say, do this one, then do this one, then do this one. And Paths, by the way, in case you're looking at Paths, Paths is like step 1 in a lot of plans we have involving paths. So the paths are going to be evolving quite a bit very soon here. Just not in production yet.
Cool.
But yeah, these 5 and then more future. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, yeah. If anybody has any questions about that, let us know. We'll also be pushing stuff on social that will clarify all of this, just so you can know what you can get. And since we're going to be creating a lot more Svelte and SvelteKit courses, we'll be really clear about what is available, what you should be taking, what is free, etc. Cool. I'm liking people's comments on the speed. Matthew says he listens to your saucy voice at half speed.
Yeah, I talk half speed.
Imagine it at 2 speed.
I used to. So, Caitlin, I used to work at a record label, and I got to take home one record from this record label, and it was a Detroit techno label. It's called Ghostly International. I was their accountant for 1 year, and Ghostly has some like really neat artists, but they had like a second label that was just straight legit techno, and techno was never my genre, but they were just handed like big time techno records to me as I'm like, and what I would do is I would go home and I'd put them on at half speed, and it like ended up being like and it was just like grooves, and I was just like thinking like, yeah, okay,
yeah,
like I can get techno slowed down to half speed.
Yeah, it blows my mind. I mean, you know that speeding up or slowing down music really changes it, but it always blows my mind how much it changes it. Like voices.
Oh yeah, I love that about having a record player, just slowing it down.
Yeah. There was this thing going around the internet like a couple years ago that said if you speed up Post Malone's voice, it sounds like Justin Bieber. And you try it. It was like terrifying. It was pretty much dead on.
That's hilarious.
I don't know what's happening in the Illuminati. I don't understand.
Oh my God.
Okay, so Vexcode's asking if you have an API specific course.
Like building an API? Might need you to clarify. Do you have an API specific course? We have a browser APIs course, which is about like interacting with your browser. But if you're talking about like building a straight up API, we have a GraphQL course for that, but it's GraphQL. I've thought about doing something TRPC land or just a straight up REST API. We also have 2 node courses on like building the authentication piece of that. But it's not a full-on API. It's just like a lot. Yeah, there's 46 videos on authentication, 46 math. Okay.
Wow. Sweet. We'll answer 2 more questions and then wrap it up here because we are coming to an end. Would SvelteKit, this is from LS also, would SvelteKit be a good choice for building front-end D apps? What are D apps?
D apps.
Lowercase d.
This is a hole in my knowledge. I've seen the word D apps. I've seen the word. If anybody wants to spell it out for me, I don't know what a DApp
This is
is.
really right. I feel like every time we're getting Q&A, I'm like, I have no idea what that word is, and like a whole essay on it. So good job stumping Scott here on us.
There's a chance I know more about it than I know
I mean,
that.
yeah, you're gonna be like, oh wait, that, and then you'll be like,
Yes.
here's an entire blog I wrote about it. No. In the meantime, Luke Schaefer's wondering if you've tried planet scale.
Yeah, we just did a little bit of a dive into planet scale on syntax. It's neat. I haven't tried it. Is really what it comes down to. I don't do a lot with SQL. Is really where it's at. So like I'm often picking things that are like NoSQL databases, just because it's not my specialty. So yeah, I haven't. And somebody also asked about FaunaDB, another interesting database choice. We also talked about that in that same syntax episode. Haven't used it. Databases are one of those things that like when I'm in my home base and I'm feeling comfortable, but like I'm not ready to get out of my home base.
Yeah.
People said DApps is distributed, decentralized, blockchain apps. We don't do anything with that really. Not to say that we won't. It's not my specialty. If we do, we'll bring in an expert in the field. So that's the big reason why we haven't is I don't know enough about like what's BS in that world and what's actually relevant. So I would need to dive in a little bit more.
All right. Is there any other questions that you're seeing on there that you want to answer? If not, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I think that's truly it. I have been looking, but if you have anything,
Yeah, I have a couple of links I'm gonna pop in. I can't type and talk at the same time.
Yeah, I kind of do that for a job, but I don't do it well when I'm not doing code.
So I'm going to okay, let me just finish typing. Okay. Comment, I'm going to share a Twitter post. If you guys have any questions that didn't get answered in this live stream that you want to get answered, comment it on here and we will answer it probably today. I mean, as in Scott's going to answer it maybe today or tomorrow. Right?
Yes, hopefully. Yes.
Here's our Discord. If you haven't already joined, I think that you all would love it in there. Here's the course, just in case. It's pretty sweet. It's awesome to see that people are already loving it. Hope you liked what you heard today from Scott and I in my dumb commentary, mostly about MySpace. Thank you for being here. These are always a lot of fun for us. It's cool to see how enthusiastic you are about all this. I'm seeing more questions come in. Comment on the Twitter post. But yeah, is there anything else you want to say to the crew?
Oh, David, he really quick. This is a good one to get in.
Yeah.
Says, is this course going to be updated or added more videos later? This course won't, but we're going to be adding more modules. We don't call them modules, but we'll be adding more courses that are like not necessarily sequential, but more that are expanding upon this knowledge. If you want to go back towards the start of this live stream, we went listed off like 4 of them. So there's going to be a lot of Svelte content. I can imagine like 100 plus more Svelte tutorials or something.
Awesome. One last question, because I've seen this in there a couple times. Where'd you get your nickname, Toro Loco?
There's a monster truck. It's named after the monster truck. We have a toy monster truck of that one in our basement. It has bull horns. It's not my favorite monster truck. My favorite monster truck's probably Gravedigger, but that's not a good nickname.
Yeah, that's not.
No, honestly, I think Wes came up with it out of nowhere. The goal for it was like, let's do something with alliteration and let's do something that's obnoxious. So the Barracuda boss was funny because he's got like a Billy Bass in his office and stuff like that. So he's got like the fish theme, and I can be, the bull pushing forward.
I like it. It's fitting. Very fitting. Well, on that note, Thanks for being here, everyone. We hope you enjoy it. Let us know how you're feeling about the course. If you have any questions, reach out to us. There's a lot of places you can find us: Discord, Twitter, you name it, Instagram. Thanks again. We see every comment you've put in here. We'll consider everything. We'll reach out with anything that comes up. Yeah, thanks again. Everyone have a good weekend.
Yeah, it's the weekend.
It's the weekend.
Yeah,
Woo!
cool. Have a great weekend. Yeah, thank you.
Bye, everyone.